Hello, and welcome to another Silver Screen Filmmakers Club workshop. We are glad you are joining us today. The information provided to you today is brought to you by the Stage Incubator, along with our sponsor, the Indiana Arts Commission. This is also brought to you in partnership with the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence at Indiana University Northwest and Folk Art, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility Resources and Training. All right, and welcome. Welcome to the Silver Screens Filmmakers Club. And we are going to jump right into our lesson for Module 5. So let me get us started here. Now, I'm super excited about, this module here because this is the precipice for our final project for our class. So I hope you are ready. We're going to cover a number of different things in this lesson, but it really mainly is all about what makes a film poster, what makes a movie poster. And what we'll do in this lesson is we'll explore that as well as what makes it effective, and then we'll look at both good and bad examples. So, are you ready? Well, again, formalities for formality's sake here. Just to introduce myself, I am your instructor and your facilitator. My name is Gretchen Sip, and I am here to walk you through the introduction to Canva. Over these last couple of weeks, we've covered a number of things, including color theory, the basics of Canva, the basis of graphic design principles. We've covered a number of things, typography, so on and so forth. And it has been a joy and a pleasure to be with you during these lessons. So we're going to jump right in. Again, now this is part of our week 5 agenda. We're covering elements of a movie poster. So we're going to cover this portion first, and then we're going to go into a little bit more detail regarding what you actually need to know for your exercise for this week. So let's go on and get started. Now, this lesson is all about the elements of a film poster. We're going to walk you through what are those different elements, what are those main points, and hopefully, after walking you through that, you can have sort of a thorough understanding of the essentials of effective film and poster design. Does that work for you? So, how we have it laid out, this lesson is all about number one, importance of a film poster. Why is it important? Basic. Then we're going to talk about the elements of a film poster. Next, we'll just look at a few examples of good and bad film posters, and then we'll wrap it up with a lesson summary. The next part will be how to prepare for creating that outline for a film poster. So, you don't have to do this, but we want you to get some practice with, knowing what those elements are and then putting them into action by sketching out your outline. And we will have an exercise for this week that allows you to put in those different pieces without actually creating the full on movie poster so that you get that basic understanding. All right. So, importance of film posters. Well, film posters play a vital role in marketing and the promotion of movies. We all know that. They're not just pieces of art, um, but they are actually powerful tools that attract the audience that you're looking for or that you're trying to attract, and they convey essential information regarding that film. So, even with the films that you're creating, the movies that you're creating, a film poster's main purpose is to create that sort of excitement through visual art and convey the message of whatever that film title is, whatever it's about, and start to evoke those emotions that you want from your audience. So let's just take a brief look here. You know, film posters date back to the late 19th century, evolving from simple promotional advertisements to very sophisticated and artistic designs that we see today. You know, I pulled out one of those retro posters tech of the 50-foot woman. This was so creative for its time. Number one, it was risque, but number two, it pushed the envelope in having, sort of this larger than life woman, and she's almost invading, the city, invading the metropolis. And this immediately, number one, when you see the movie poster, you're intrigued. Like, what is this about? And so it really was, is in nature or in concept, it is simple, but it really has transformed over the years. Now, the primary goals of a film poster are a couple things. One, attract attention. Two, provide key information about the film. And then three, of course, create a lasting impression that entices viewers to watch the movie. Now, why I bring that part up in creating a memorable impression, I don't know about you all, but even when I was younger, I was allowed to have, just a few posters in my locker at school and things of that nature. And my favorite movies, I would have posters of them. And now some of those posters are like collector's items. Now, I don't still have them, but those that collect them, some of those posters are collector's items and now they're a lot of money. But they are just it creatively, the creativity of it all, from the Silence of the Lambs, The Godfather. I mean, so many people. I chose these movie posters because I told you all, my background is graphic design, and I started out, by doing cover art for rap artists and music artists. And, a lot of them were fans of The Godfather and Scarface and E.T. and so on. So some of these movie posters I drew inspiration from to even create those cover art. If you think back, I mean, it's so many things that we see now that have been influenced by the artwork on movie posters. Now, a film poster is a visual introduction to a movie designed to sell it to people who might want to watch it, especially, of course, at the cinemas. So it's a visual introduction. Now, these posters combine images, text, and colors to give audiences a glimpse of the movie's theme, mood, and characters. And that's what yours is going to do. Is going to be that visual introduction to get your audience excited and ready for what they're going to be seeing. So let's look at some of the elements of a film poster. I like this graphic here because it makes it sort of easy to digest. We'll start at the top. Top is film title. Need a film title, and then we're gonna go around by going to the right. Then we have tagline. Third, imagery. Fourth, credits. Fifth, release dates. Sixth, typography. Seven, color scheme. Symbols and icons. And then, of course, target audience. All right, so let's jump into it. Elements of a film poster. We have our title and our tagline. Now, a strong title is crucial for a film poster. It needs to be memorable and reflective of the film's essence. For instance, titles like Inception or Pulp Fiction are intriguing and instantly grab attention. Now, a tagline condenses the film's essence into a catchy and memorable phrase. It usually adds intrigue and can often be the hook that draws in the audience. For example, some of the memorable taglines when we think about it, um, like from the movie Alien, in space, no one can hear you scream. That was their tagline. And you're like, when you hear that, you're like, what? You know, same but like Jaws 2. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. That was the tagline for Jaws 2. When you hear that, you automatically know that's Jaws. That tagline is like a teaser, and it's just a few words that give you a hint about the story and makes you want to see the movie. Title, it can really affect the poster's impact. It often tells a bit about what to expect from the movie. All right? So let's look at, just a few quick tips regarding title design and tagline. For the title, keep it short, keep it impactful. Number two, ensure readability. You want to make sure that it's readable. And third, make sure that it reflects the genre and tone of the film. Make sure it reflects that. Now, tagline, keep it short and punchy, like we talked about with Jaws 2, when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, right? Keep it short and punchy. Second, make it memorable. And third, ensure it complements the title and the theme. Okay, let's go on to the next. So, we're talking about color scheme. The importance of color in film posters. Colors evoke emotions and set the tone. Colors and the way posters look can make us feel certain ways. Dark colors might mean it's scary or serious, while bright colors can mean it's fun and exciting. Different colors can signify different genres. So the color scheme of a film poster, it plays a critical role. It evokes emotion, it sets the tone, it signifies genre and moods, and it makes the poster instantly recognizable. For example, we're using here the Grand Budapest Hotel. Now it utilizes pastel colors. So it makes it, not so you don't think it's a drama or a horror. You think of it's more lighthearted. Now if we had another type of movie theme or movie poster here with a more intense color, that would change what we expected to see. Now, again, quick tips for color selection. Use color that reflect the film's mood and limit the color palette to maintain visual harmony, ensuring that high contrast is available as well as readability. Okay? You don't want the colors of your image to clash with the colors of your font. Okay? Imagery. That's another big piece, right? Imagery. Now, imagery is a powerful component of a film poster. Whether it's using illustrations, photos, or graphics, the chosen imagery must captivate and convey the film's atmosphere. Now, if you're using illustrations, photos, or graphics, each type has its own impact and use case. Now, impactful imagery, can be seen here. The big picture on the poster gives us a clue about the story, where it happens, and who's in it. So, for instance, we have a minimalistic poster for Jaws. It literally has Jaws, then it has a swimmer, and then it has the shark, right? But it's impactful. It already, by looking at it, it provokes or evokes fear and anticipation for what's going to happen to that swimmer. Even when you think about Star Wars, most of the Star Wars posters feature all of their central characters right there on the poster. They're usually pictures of them. So, one of the things I want you to think about when you're thinking about imagery for your poster is you want to choose imagery that is relevant to your film. You always want to make sure you have high quality images, and you want to create a focal point that draws the viewer's eye. When you're looking at this poster here for Jaws, I don't know about you, but my eye automatically goes down to the shark first. So you want to make sure that you are being smart about the images that you use on your film poster. Now let's go into typography. We just finished up a lesson about typography where we got to play around with what it looks like. But the role of typography is important. It can convey the film's tone and genre. but it needs to be legible and visually appealing. Now, the style of writing on the poster adds to the movie's feeling. For example, spooky letters might mean a scary movie. Think about what is it? It just jumped out of my head. But Nightmare on Elm Street, the font that they use for that movie title. You know, typography is crucial. It needs to be legible, visually appealing, and ensures that the title and other text elements are easy to read. So, for example, we got The Godfather. We can look at that. That font is classic. It's elegant. For lack of better terms, it is. Same thing. Now, Scarface. Ooh, I've done so many album covers in this format, in Scarface format, because it's high contrast. It has the black and white, but it's high contrast. Al Pacino, Scarface. Same thing with Goodfellas. Part of it is because too, they use a serif font. If you look close to the typography used, it's serif fonts. It has those little tails, the little feet on it. Okay, so you want to make sure few little quick tips when you're using typography, choose fonts that match the film's tone. If it's formal, formal fonts. If it's lighthearted, fun fonts. You know, again, prioritize readability. And lastly, don't use over three fonts because that gets a little bit confusing. It really is best two at the most, but no more than three. All right. Then, here we go. Principles of effective layout and composition. It's really important that you create balance, you create contrast, and you create emphasis by effectively laying out your elements on your movie poster. Now, effective layout and composition, they guide the viewer's eye across the poster. You want to make sure that you utilize the rule of thirds. We talked about the rule of thirds, and visual hierarchy, all key elements. Using principles like balance, contrast, and emphasis helps to create that visual hierarchy that guides the viewer's eye through the poster. So, as you even look at this poster of Pulp Fiction, here is a strong focal point. What is the strong focal point? Number one, you got your title. Number two, you may have the other elements, but you got your main character energy right there in the front, right? Focal points that have a clear hierarchy. It goes from largest to smallest all the way to at the bottom. So therefore guiding your eye through what you need to see. Again, like I said, one of the main things with quick tips for this layout and design, use the rule of thirds. Rule of thirds. Number two, ensure elements are well balanced. And three, make sure you highlight key information. All right, let's keep it moving. Next part, release date and credits and legal information. So release dates, they're typically placed near the bottom, and they let your audience know when they can expect to see your film. That's pertinent information. You want to share that information. So when a movie is coming out, it's a big deal, right? If it's during the school holidays or in summer. So it's a sign that lots of people might go to see it. That release date is important. You want to know you want to be able to make sure you let your audience know when to expect it. Next, credits and legal information. Now, credits on a poster tell us who made the movie, who's in it. Knows it's about telling people the people who are behind and in front of the camera, so that they can be excited to watch it. It acknowledges all of the contributors and includes necessary legal details, ensuring proper recognition and compliance. So, if you're filming someone, other people, things of that nature, you want to make sure that they're in those, sort of credits there so that they receive credit. Now, examples of proper credit placement, proper credit placement are typically found at the bottom of a poster. They may be small, but they're very legible still. And you want to make sure that they are readable, They don't use a distractive font, and you want to make sure you ensure all contributors are acknowledged, including necessary legal information when needed. Next, our target audience. So posters are made to get certain people, interested, like kids or families or even superhero fans. The pictures and words are chosen to get these people excited about this movie and get them excited about wanting to see it. So when you're considering your target audience, you need to think of the following questions. One, what is the age of my target audience? What is the age? Number two, what are their likes and dislikes? What is my target audience like? Lastly, hobbies and interests. What are the hobbies and interests of my target audience? Those are some things I want you to think about as we go through and as you design your film poster. Who's your target audience? Who are you creating the message for? So let's look at a little bit of an analysis, right? We have this here poster. Now, we're just looking at our title here. Now, the title of the movie is usually prominently displayed at the top of the poster and is typically in a large, bold font to catch the viewer's attention. But what I want you to think about, what does the title suggest about the genre or theme of the movie? For this one, it's Plan 9 from Outer Space. So, what is the title itself say about the genre or theme of the movie? Sci-fi to me, right? Now, how does the font choice and style of the title contribute to the overall tone of the poster? Well, from it, it's not a formal movie. This is a science fiction flick. So I'm looking at the title and the font that they use. It's not formal. It's not like Godfather. It's not like Scarface. It is more, sort of familiar. Now, does the title evoke any special emotions or expectations for the viewer? Plan 9 from Outer Space. Well, yeah, like it makes me feel like this is going to be a futuristic movie. Um, something from another galaxy, right? So that's what, it evokes for me. And then consider specific word choice or connotations. All right. Now, let's look at the tagline. Let's do a little analysis of the tagline here. Now, tagline, like I said, it's a short, catchy phrase or a sentence that accompanies the title, often positioned below or above it. And the tagline aims to encapsulate the theme or mood of the film and intrigue viewers, enticing them to learn more. Here, our tagline is Unspeakable Horrors from Outer Space, Paralyze the Living and Resurrect the Dead. And from our tagline and from our title, they then chose imagery around that. You got your astronaut, but you also got zombies, got people burying people, you got spaceships. All of those things tie into this movie title. Now, here's some analysis questions for you. What feeling or mood does the tagline convey about the movie? Let me read it again. Unspeakable horrors from outer space paralyze the living and resurrect the dead. Well, that tagline tells me a number of things. This is it's a sci-fi, but it's like a horror film, right? And it paralyzes the living and resurrect the dead. Say what? Okay. So now, how does the tagline complement or contrast with the title? It's a contrasting color. Number one. Number two, the font size itself. The font chosen. The font size itself much thinner. Much thinner. Now, does it use foreshadowing to suggest any themes or events? Yes. Unspeakable horrors from outer space. Yes, it definitely does. It uses foreshadowing and saying that it paralyzes the living and resurrects the dead. And consider language features, word choices, and connotation again right here in the tagline. All right, let's keep it moving. So, what I want you to think about as well when you're coming up with your themes, your ideas, how does the poster convey information about the film's plot, characters, or themes? How do these convey broader ideas about human experience? In that last poster we just showed, there was spaceships, there was people burying bodies, there was zombies, a number of different things. So the information, title, and tagline all went together in with the imagery. Okay, genre and audience appeal. What genre conventions are evident in the poster? How do they appeal to the target audience, and how may they influence audience expectations? Let's keep on going. Representation. How are certain individuals, groups, or identities portrayed in the poster? Do they rely on stereotypes or tropes? What power relationships are suggested? Representation matters. It helps to build the anticipation of the audience. Context. What cultural, social, or historical factors might have influenced the creation and reception of the poster and or film? These are all great things to keep in mind as you design your film poster. All right, so there's some other elements. We sort of talked a little bit about this when we looked at that example. But I want you to think about this as you think about how you're going to formulate your film poster. You also have symbolic codes, right? So these are things that are not necessarily uh, described in words, but more or less images. Body language, the nonverbal communication cues expressed through facial expression, posture, stance, gesture, gaze, bodily orientation, and proximity. For example, think about the poster I had up at the beginning of the 50-foot woman and how her face, even though they tried to paint her as a monster, her face didn't allude to her being a monster. She was confused. She was trying to figure it out. She had cards in her hand, right? Next, appearance. Elements such as age, physical features, gender, ethnicity, clothing, etc., are of the actors are all and characters are all a part of appearance. It is important when thinking about those things for what goes into your film poster and make setup of your images, your imagery, and your layout. Next is setting. The background and or location, whether generic, beach, mountains, or specific cities. The settings are important. If if it's a scary movie and it's set in the woods and you have a picture of the woods, there you go. That's your background, that's your setting. People know what to expect. Props or objects, items within the frame that can have symbolic meaning. Consider the connotations of particular objects, what they can help to reveal about information. Going back to our movie theme poster with this dealing with the Plan 9 from outer space and how there were spaceships in that imagery, right? Lighting can also be used to show different moods, to draw attention to certain things, or to convey meaning. Sometimes when things are covered up by a darker light, they don't really show up that well. And that can affect how people receive the information you're trying to convey with your film poster. And then colors. Colors can convey particular ideas, moods, or emotions depending on how they're used. More light-hearted colors, provoke a more light-hearted atmosphere and theme of the movie. All right. So let's take a few examples here. Good and bad examples. So let's look at a few good ones. Black Panther. Now, Black Panther, it effectively combines all the key elements, uses bold titles, memorable taglines, impactful imagery, cohesive color schemes, readability, typography, balanced layout, and appropriate credits. We have Black Panther. Now, the heading isn't at the top, but it's the largest font that you see on here. Why? Because they wanted to show um, the cityscape. Black Panther is futuristic, dealing with legacy and family and all these different parties. So you have all these images of the main characters in the backdrop of this city that's in the future and so technologically forward. And then it goes into, the title and then the credits and legal information and things of the nature and when it's coming out. Same with Little Miss Sunshine. The imagery is so distinct here. Now, yes, you may have different, like you have your at the top you have all of your characters or your actors, their names, basic information, reviews. But Little Miss Sunshine is the biggest font you see, and it gets larger across the top of the bus, and the imagery is clear. Same with Bohemian Rhapsody. It's one of my favorites. I love, love, love this poster. Part of it is because number one, you utilize purple as sort of a filter. They have the image and then they superimpose purple as a light transparency, and then they have Queen and the sunglasses of our main character there. And how do we know? What the tagline is? Fearless lives, fearless lives forever. Right? Bohemian Rhapsody. When is it coming out? November 2nd. So those are a few good examples. Let's look at some messed up ones. Now, bad examples, they could be not horrible, but still, you want to keep in mind, like, you want to avoid poor color choices, cluttered imagery, and unreadable text. For example, we have the poster for Cats. Now, this is the Cats poster from 2019, not the original 2019. Now, it received a lot of criticism because of its confusing visuals and the typography. So, the typography that they use for the word cats it caused a lot of chaos. Not only that, when you initially look at these, you only know these figures are cats because they have a tail and the movie says cats. But other than that, it looks like burglars or women just, gallivanting along the city skyline. You know? Very confusing. Look at X Men here. Why is the man's face in the middle of the man wheelchair? Now, I mean, it's not bad, but that looks odd. It's confusing. We do have the basic information here. This is an X Men movie. But it looks really weird that this man's face is right in this other man's midsection. And lastly, Fired Up. Now, I can look at this all day and I see the big capital letter F and I see the big capital letter U. And we all know what that is. But essentially, the movie is Fired Up. Two guys, 300 girls. You do the math. Very confusing. Don't really know what to expect. Think it's a university, but it really is really, really bad typography. All right. So to recap, a successful film poster combines a strong title, a memorable tagline, and impactful imagery. It also involves effective color scheme, clear typography, balanced layout, and appropriate credits. Now, applying these elements will help you create an engaging and effective film poster that you will love and that your audience will love and be attracted to. Now, again, we always tell you if you have any questions, feel free to email us at thestageincubator@gmail.com. If we understand that sometimes things may be a little bit confusing, we want to make sure we answer those things to the best of our ability. So take your time. Listen to this lesson again if you need, or jump into our demonstration videos. We will be happy to see you there. Thank you, thank you, thank you for attending our session. We're going to get ready to pull up our next session, all about creating a basic outline for a movie poster, where we walk you through how to utilize a Canva template and be able to enter your information in for that basic outline for a movie poster. Well, we hope you enjoyed your time here. Happy creating. Well, I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for joining the Stage Incubator and viewing a part of our digital literacy series. We really appreciate you being here and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at thestageincubator@gmail.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Again, we want to thank our sponsors and our partners, the Indiana Arts Commission, the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence, and VOCART, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility, Resource, and Training. We hope to see you at our next session, and stay tuned for more things to come.